Chapter 1, A Boy, a Man and a God. Once upon a time, there was a boy. He lived in a strange world filled with wonders and mysteries. The people there had supernatural abilities. Few could use magic. Most would absorb energy from the nature to nourish and strengthen themselves, and it was called cultivation. But as the world was filled with wonders, magic and cultivation, it was also filled with dangers and terrors. Devilish beasts hunted the weak and unprotected. There were deadly phenomena around the world which were dangerous and life-threatening to even the mightiest of strength and bravest of heart. And the worst of all? The civilized races living in the strange world wanted to kill, destroy and conquer each other. In their pride, wrath, lust and greed, they wanted to trample the others beneath their feet. Although, none of this had to do with the boy in any way. Because the boy was born weak. Weak, by the norms of the world he had to live in. In the world filled with magic and cultivation, he wasn't a mage nor he could cultivate. The conditions he was born in had denied him of those luxuries. He was talentless. He could have given up. Most would have. But he didn't. He wanted to laugh in the face of the world for the obstacles and challenges it presented. He wanted to mock the world for making him born this way. He wanted to become strong. So, he tried, even without cultivation, and even without magic. He trained his body physically to keep up with mages and cultivators. And he had won fortune. While he was weak, his family was strong. His family come from a great lineage of strong cultivators and they were able to provide him with necessary accommodations to become strong even without cultivation. He trained days and nights. He trained without rest. He pushed his body to test its own limits. And he was successful. He somehow managed to keep up with the cultivators of his age. And he was happy and proud of his achievement. But he forgot one thing. The world was cruel and unforgiving. And his enemies were cunning and ruthless. And in his hubris and pride, he was poisoned and assassinated during a prestigious duel where participants were supposed to fight with dignity and honor. He did fight with dignity and honor. His opponent did not. As he lay dead, he cursed the fates in the world, for being cruel. He cursed the gods, for turning a blind eye to this unfairness. And he, for a brief moment, wondered if there were any benevolent God, who would avenge for this unjust done to him. Unknown to him, from the darkest corners of the dark void, a God heard his pleas. And the God answered. He felt like he was underwater. Like he was being carried by a strong current from the deepest depth of the ocean. He felt like he should be suffocating, because there was no air around him. But he wasn't suffocating. In fact, he was not breathing at all. And he was fine. Oh, yes. He was dead. Fell at the poisoned blade of that thrice-damned Felix. And the dead didn't breathe. He cursed his fate again. He didn't want to die young. And he sure didn't want to die to such cowardly tactics from a slime. It wasn't fair. But the world was not fair and he was dead. There was nothing he could do despite his complaints. So, he just stayed still and let the current take him away. And it was not like there was something he could do in this situation. He couldn't move. He couldn't even open his eyes to look around him. Could the dead spirits see? He did not know. He just stayed like that for hours. Were those even hours, or years, or decades? He was starting to lose count of time. But as he followed the current, he felt some kind of ropes warped around his body and trying to pull him out. At first, the pull was small, minor. And then it got stronger. It got stronger and stronger until he felt he was successfully out of the water. He could breathe and see again. And he was in a strange white room with the bright lights all around him. What the hell? He muttered while looking around. And he could also hear some whispering. I told you. This white room and bright light stuff is like, really, really old school. It is so old that it is not even funny or interesting anymore. It was for you freaks who read and watch so many isekai manga, novels and anime. Look. It throws him off guard, doesn't it? He even looks surprised. He heard a young voice whispered in a funny tone and an older and more mature voice replied in a hiss. Who is there? Show yourselves, he yelled into the white light around him. Why can't he see us? We are not even that far. Those freaking lights are too bright, you dumb idiot. Oh. After the young voice scolded the old one, he heard something clicked and the bright white light around him dimmed. And there he could see two figures. A middle-aged man with a simple grey shirt and black pants. And an old fragile-looking man wearing a white robe with a staff in his hand. Hey yo. The younger man greeted him with a sheepish expression and a waving hand, but the old man was just looking at him curiously. Who the hell are you guys? He asked while wearily looking for any sign of aggression from the two. He just died. He had every right to be cautious. Ahem. The old man began. Most of you regard and revere me as God. But I'm more than that. I'm the Supreme Being, Father of all creation, ruler of cosmos, the grand designer of origin and life, old Deus, the one who, his name is Crito. Hey. I was getting to that. The old man, now named Crito, hissed again at the young man for interrupting him. But the man looked unrepentant. Yeah, just. No. I had to sit down and listen to your countless titles for 2 hours straight. Never. Again. And hi. My name is Joseph Redwoods. And his real name is not Crito. It is actually in an awfully difficult and foreign language that I, for my life, do not know how to even pronounce. But he agreed I can call him Crito. So, all is good. The young man showed his 2 thumbs up. Why am I here? Are you gods responsible for this? I remember that died. I'm still dead. Right? Oh, no, no, no. He is the god. I'm just another puny mortal like you who got pulled into this. The young man gestured around the now not so white room. Strange bright place. And yes, I'm the one who pulled you into this room. You, boy, need to learn manners. When someone introduces themselves, it is a courtesy to introduce yourself back. Young people these days, so rude. The old man replied slowly, shaking his head. And he continued. But, no matter. Because I'm all-knowing and already know your name. Marcius Aemilia of Clan Aemilia, you are dead. And as you take your dying breath, you pleaded for help. I heard and answered. You are here now to be given a second chance in life. Author notes. Hello everyone, Midnight MK here. This is my first time writing and this is my first ever story. So, please do go easy on me guys. Anyway, have fun reading. I really hope you enjoy it. Chapter 2, alright, let's mess the protagonist up. You are the god. Yes. The all-knowing, all-seeing and the most powerful god. True. And for the record, I would like to say that I don't peek into everyone's lives like a creepy stalker. Crito replied. He wasn't asking if you do. Where does that even come from? Joseph interjected into the line of conversation between Crito and Marcius. I just needed to establish that before we go any further. I have been accused of godly stalking, countless times before. Crito retorted. All right. Let's just, for a moment, say I believe all this, you should. Crito cut in. What does the second life in chance entail? Marcius asked, and the white-robed god looked towards Joseph. This is, I guess, where I come in. Joseph replied. You know how everything vibrates at a certain level of frequency, and there can be multiple. Joseph, he comes from a cultivation world, which technology level is, at best, at Renaissance era. He won't understand a thing about multiverse theory, Crito scolded with an annoyed tone. But they can create portals to different dimensions. Joseph replied. It is magic. Technically, it is not. For them, it is. Portals are the combination of technology and magic. Their level of technology depends on how far they can study and improve the application of magic on various aspects. So, it is magic. Crito argued. As much as it is interesting to listen to your conversations, I will need some answer or I'm getting out of here, Marcius said. It is cute you think you can escape this place. But Joseph, continue on with the explanation and I would appreciate if you keep it simple and short. The god replied in amusement. All right buddy, short and simple. I come from a different realm where some events happened in your world is written down as a book people read for entertainment. And the god now wants to send us back to the land of the living, on the condition that the two of us combine our souls into one, get back into your body and cause some mayhem on your world. Do I get it in one go? Not that short and simple. The god replied to Joseph's sarcastic explanation. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to be short and simple, or do you want me to give him a detailed rundown of the situation? Have you ever heard of middle grounds and compromises? Joseph and Crito argued as Marcius tried to warp his mind around the explanation. You are from different realm, like the Tridents. No. I mean, yes, but no. Joseph replied, hurriedly stopping his fight with the god. He looked positively disgusted. Look, I'm like the Tridents in a sense that I come from a different realm. And, I'm not like the Tridents in a sense that I'm not a behemoth of a mass-murdering monster whose favorite pastime hobby is eating everyone and everything which is not a Trident. What do you also mean by combining our souls? What about the fact that our world is an entertainment literature? Marcius pressed on with the questions. It means that we will combine the two of us to become a new person. A new person with both our memories, habits, instincts and feelings. I know, all right. I know there is no reason for you to trust us. I wouldn't trust us. This is all very sudden to you and you obviously need time adjusting. But unfortunately, we don't have much time. So, let us show you something. Joseph replied, and he directed his next words at Crito. Show him. Show him the events from the book. Show him what happens after his death. What do you mean we don't have enough time? Marcius asked, but Crito slammed his staff hard on the floor and he was pulled into a vision. He saw his hometown burning, with the flames high above the sky. His clan destroyed. His parents murdered. His grandfather died protecting his clan and his city. His little sister orphaned without any family left. All of which happened just because of one man. The man with the red hair. The man his little sister was in love with. Just because of his ambitions, greed and actions, Marcius's loved ones had to suffer. He could see death and destruction anywhere in his vision. He could see suffering, sorrow and anguish. It made him felt hopeless. And at the center of all was Logan Draken. Marcius came back from the vision with visible anger. Who is that guy? Who the FK is Logan Draken? He shouted. Whoa, calm down a bit, buddy. Maybe it was a bad idea to show you the visions. Okay, just calm down and I'll tell you what you need to know. Joseph replied. But first, can we all just sit down? Crito waved his hand and 3 cushioned chairs materialized. The god sat down as the other 2 followed suit, but in the case of Marcius, he did so reluctantly. Logan is a reincarnated guy. Joseph started. Which means he died once and reborn into the past. He has 3 centuries worth of future knowledge. He knows what is going to happen. He knows the grim fate of your world. He knows the terrors and destructions that await the people of Rubrum. He explained. And here is where the problem starts. Logan is a prideful prick. He styles himself the one who will one day rule the entire Rubrum. And he knows he can do it with the help of his future knowledge. All he cares about is himself. Nothing else matters. He wants power. Here, Joseph stood up and began walking back and forth in frustration. He doesn't care that others get hurt or get killed because of him. He doesn't freaking understand his actions have dire consequences. Joseph's voice raised little by little in anger. Don't get me wrong. I'm no saint either. I would abuse the hell out of that future knowledge to give myself big advantages. But he is just the most selfish, self-centered guy I have ever met. He doesn't care about the lives of his subordinates, or friends, or family. All he cares about is authority and power. Joseph calmed himself down and sat back in the chair. He will arrive at Mediolan, 8 years after your death. Your little sister will fall in love with his charming self and he will be accepted into your clan and family as the favored son-in-law, because of his astounding talent and strength. But while staying in Mediolan, he will accidentally provoke the outside powers which he really shouldn't have. And your family, clan and entire city will pay the price for his mistakes. Joseph ended his explanation. This is not the first time he will bring misfortune to those around him, and it will not be the last. A few years after, he will become the most wanted man in the entire Rubrum, and everywhere he goes, he will bring great shadow of death and destruction. At the end, he will succeed, but half of Rubrum will be in flames by then. Crito added. So, I propose you this. The god continued. I'll combine the souls of you and Joseph and put the end result back into your body. With your hard-working nature and dedication, as well as Joseph's cunning mind and his future knowledge, you will have a huge edge over Logan. You will work against him to stop him from ever rising to a position of power and authority. It will not be easy, but I'll even grant you some blessings to keep up with Logan. Marcius sat there and quietly considered the proposal. I understand the situation and I'm willing to accept the offer if it means I can save my family. But I need to know, what is in this for the both of you? He asked. I'm dead, like you. Joseph started first. This is the end of line for me. And by combining our souls, a part of me and a part of you will live on in this new Marcius. I'm fine with it. Besides, it is a chance to screw over my lifelong most hated protagonist. There is just no way I'm passing this up. I do not understand all you said, but I understand the necessary part. So, it is okay. Marcius replied as he looked towards Crito in a what about you manner. For me, I'll have an agent in Rubrum. See, different worlds and dimensions emit a form of energy called origin energy. And if we, the gods, have a huge influence over a certain world, we'll have a steady supply of origin energy from that world. And knowing the two of you, you will end up becoming the king instead of Logan, if things go your way. Even if you don't end up ruling over Rubrum, just by having an agent, I'll still gain significant amount of origin energy. Either way, it is a win-win for me. Crito shrugged. Godly capitalism, ladies and gentlemen. Joseph interjected in a joking manner. I'm not benevolent. I never claimed to be a benevolent god. I only do things if I get something out of it. And this is what I get out of this. So, are you in or are you out? Crito asked Marcius. All right, I'm in, if only to save my family. Marcius answered. Then let's get started. Time is short. If souls are out of reincarnation circle for too long, things can get ugly. I'll now combine your souls, give my blessings and send you on your merry way, Crito said. Will it hurt? Joseph asked in a worried manner. I'm an expert in the field of soul magic. You won't feel a thing. What kind of blessings are we talking about? Joseph asked again. You will see later. It is something that will aid you greatly, I promise. Will we ever see you again? This time, the question is from Marcius. If I decided you need to. The god answered as he snapped his fingers. Now, good luck in Rubrum. Author notes. I'm sorry for a slight delay in updates. I hope you enjoy the chapter. Chapter 3, I just woke up and ready to destroy the plot line. Solas Empire, Northern Dukedom of Farnese, Mediolan County, the city of Mediolan, Lord's Keep. A youthful boy could be seen laying on a huge bed in one of many rooms inside the keep. He was holding a glass of water in one hand and massaging his temples with the free hand. You won't feel a thing, my ass. It feels like my head had been hit by a dozen of trucks. The boy muttered. My lord? A nervous voice parroted after the boy. The boy seemed mildly alerted by the noise as he looked up towards the voice. Oh, nothing. Just talking to myself. He calmly replied. Have you already alerted Lord and Lady Aemilia? Yes, my lord. The guards are currently on their way to deliver the news of your recovery as we speak. What about Sir Janus? The boy questioned. We have also sent a messenger to the barracks. Good, good. Marcius. As the boy was speaking, the door to his room suddenly opened with a loud bang and a small figure ran in. The figure zeroed in on Marcius' bed and launched towards him. Hello, Livier. Marcius greeted in a gentle voice as two small hands warped around his waist. How are you doing? In return, he was greeted with tightening of the arms around him accompanied by a soft sobbing. You were in a coma and you are asking me how am I doing? Marcius. You nearly died. I was so scared. Livia, his little sister, wailed out a reply. There. I am awake now, aren't I? Your big brother is really strong. It will take a lot more to kill me. Marcius consoled the little girl, who was now crying loudly on his lap. Can you not mention about dying? You think this is funny? I couldn't sleep for 8 nights straight because of you. Livia angrily replied. Livia, stop bothering your brother. He just barely recovered from his injuries. You will accidentally hurt him again. A pleasant voice chastised Livia as 2 other figures quietly walked into the bedroom. They were Lord Marcius Aemilia, Lord of Mediolan, and his wife Lady Helen Aemilia. How are you feeling, my love? Lady Aemilia questioned with a soft voice. A tired yet relieved smile could be seen on her face. But the tears in her eyes said another story. Helen was a lovely woman with brown wavy hair and an oval-shaped face. She had deep green eyes filled with warmth. Like I just wake up from 9 days-long coma, Marcius chuckled out a reply. He pulled Livia's face up from his chest and began wiping tears away from her face. His little sister pouted and tried to bite his hand. It is good to see you awake, young man. His father said. Marcius was the opposite of his wife. He was a stern man. He had a tall and muscular body with white short hair. Marcius had complicated feelings about his father. It was because of Marcius that his attempted murderer was still at large, even when he was put into a coma. From Joseph's memories, he noted that Felix, the boy who poisoned him, came from an influential merchant family. And the assassination of Marcius was backed by both Felix's family and Sargia clan, a rival clan of Aemilia clan. So, when the blame was about to be put onto Felix, both his family and Sargia clan protected him and covered it up as an accident. And since Marcius's grandfather, the head of Aemilia clan, was out of the city at the time, it was up to Marcius's father to conduct the investigation and arrest Felix. And the fact that his grandfather was still not back in the city and his father's reluctant to go after Felix in fear of retaliation, his killer was still a free man walking. Marcius Aemilia was an ambitious man. And he never cared that much about Marcius because of his condition that enabled him to cultivate. So, he was not willing to risk his position to capture the culprit of his not-so-favored son's injuries and followed up coma. It was also important to note that while Marcius originally died, Crito had made it so that he was just in a coma this time, which would make it easier for the god to put the soul back into Marcius's body. But because Marcius had not died, his father was even more unwilling to go after the well-protected Felix. Father. Marcius greeted coldly. And, mother, he softened his voice by a large margin, it is really good to see you both. Especially after recovering from my injuries. We were so worried, your father and I. Your condition was critical and the doctors were unsure if you are ever going to recover, Helen said as she sat on his bed and gently embraced him. Livia yelped as she was sandwiched between 2 huge bodies. Seriously, how are you feeling, son? Are you still hurt anywhere? Or are you having headaches? You hit your head very hard. The mother's voice had a hint of crying. And as I told Livia, it will take a lot more than that to kill me. At his words, his little sister sloppily tried to bite him again. Her aim was Marcius's neck and she bit harder. But I think I'm fully recovered now. I can't feel any pain or headaches. He lied about the headache. Although I'm a bit tired. Then you should rest. Helen hurriedly said. Livia, get up. Your brother needs to sleep. She tried to pry the little girl away from the bed. Livia whined. But Mom, I miss Big Brother. If he is going to sleep, I can also sleep with him. Right, Big Brother? Her tone was small as she looked at Marcius with pleading eyes. But before Livia could finish her plea, the door to the room opened again and a figure in armor and red cloak walked in steadily. On his chest plate was the proud symbol of Aemilia clan, a ferocious red wolf holding a black sword in its mouth. He kneeled down and greeted the occupants of the room. This humble servant greets City Lord, Lady Aemilia and Lady Livia. This one also would like to greet and congratulate young Master Marcius for his healthy recovery. We thank you for your kind words, Sir Janus. Marcius replied. But if you don't mind me asking, what is the purpose of your visit? Are there any emergencies that need addressing? He continued puzzledly. I was summoned by young Master Marcius, was Sir Janus' reply. Marcius, you summoned Sir Janus? Helen questioned. Yes. I need the aid of the chief commander concerning with certain important matters. Marcius replied. But first, Livia, go tell the kitchen maids to prepare some. Marcius looked out the window to see the sun high up. Lunch for me. I'm positively starving. Maybe bring some for yourself too. You haven't eaten anything, right? Livia shook her head cutely as a no. Okay. So, bring back lunch for the two of us. We can eat together. Marcius finished his sentence while gently combing through the little girl's hair as she purred. I'll bring lunch for Big Brother and me, Livia said, sitting up and quickly getting out of the room. But upon reaching the door she stopped and looked back. But next time you don't want me to hear you discuss adult matters, just say so. I'm 7, not dumb, she said with a pout and walked out. Smart girl. Marcius muttered with fondness under his breath. But immediately after, he straightened up and looked at the remaining occupants of the room. The lone servant had also obediently walked out after Livia and closed the door. Sir Janus, he said with a serious tone. I need you to immediately find and arrest Felix Argus. Author notes. Midnight MK here. I'll be updating a chapter a day. I found out the hard way that it is my limit. I hope you enjoy the chapter.